If the dollar wanted a friend right now, should it stop looking to the Fed or Trump?
I think, yeah. So in essence, I think it probably needs a bit more of some data to help. So probably in terms of inflation, or probably some of the wage economic numbers sort of feeding through into the inflation numbers to some extent. But generally, I think the Fed announcement yesterday and the Yellen speech, with slightly hawkish, should generally push the dollar slightly stronger. The question is whether it's going to be sustained. I think it doesn't help that the CPI numbers that came out earlier sort of pushed it a bit weaker. My sense is, together with the oil prices sort of falling off slightly below the 45 level, sort of doesn't help the general sort of sentiment globally as well.
Yeah, and as we watch a curve flattening, there's even talk out there in the market of a possible inverted yield curve either later this year or going into next, which has typically been bad for the economy and preceded, I think, the last 7 recessions. Is this a scenario that you see as possible at this stage, and what would that mean for the dollar?
I think in terms of, I think one of the reasons why that sort of materialized is probably the demand for US Treasuries. I think the prices has been going up on the long end side of things. My view is, I think the situation we're seeing now in the Treasury yield curve is not so much a precursor to how the economy will pan out, largely because my view is generally the environment now, the context that we are seeing now with the flush liquidity in the system still, even though the Fed is talking about reducing their balance sheet, it's a bit different from periods in the past where the yield curve sort of give good indication. So my sense is we probably, if the yield sort of remains, continue to see a bit of flattening and the long end demand still coming in, we might see continued softness in the dollar, definitely. But if you look at some currencies against the dollar Asians, for example, dollar Asians continue to be a bit soft, and we would expect the dollar Asians to start rising with recent developments after the Fed hike yesterday, and also in terms of the hawkish stance. But it sort of still continues to be a bit soft. I think it doesn't help that on the fiscal and Trump side is sort of not so positive as well.